Hello and welcome to Taking You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I am your host, JP John Paz, with the two-man power trip. Of course, joining me, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion himself, one of the greatest trainers ever in the history of the business, the Doctor of Desire, Dr. Tom Prichard. How you doing today, sir?
Doing great, John. It seems like we've both been kind of busy these last couple of weeks, so we're getting back in the groove, huh?
Yes, very busy. I
Yeah,
know you were out of town. I was at Creed at one point, the Creed concert. So yeah,
yeah.
crazy.
So you must have been having a good time. How was the Creed concert?
They were awesome. I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised. They were awesome. They were off the charts, if you will. I thought they were great.
Okay, well, that makes for a good time then.
Oh, yes. Jason. Hello, Jason.
Jason,
Ibsen. Dr. Time, you were missed.
well, thanks, Ibsen.
Look at that. I love that. Some sad news, of course, to report. I know it was a couple days ago, but the passing of Afa Anawai, known as the Wild Samoan number one half of the Wild Samoans with Sika, who recently passed away as well. What did you think about the passing of Afa?
I think it was coming. Everybody knew it was coming, and but it's still sad. I had made my first Japanese tour with Alpha and Sika, 1980 or 81, I think it was. And they were cool guys. Took care of me on the tour over there along with Bad News Allen and Bobby Duncombe. Uh, so they, yeah, it was. I think it was to be expected, but still sad nonetheless. It's just another piece of history and legacy that is going away.
For sure. Phil says, good evening. Glad you're back. Happy you're back. The modern day cowboy, Mitch, says, good evening. Hope you both had a great summer for sure.
Of course,
Saw that you had a birthday recently. Happy birthday.
yeah. Well, that happens.
Good evening from Brendan.
Hello, Brendan.
Alfred Cluse. Hi,
Alfred.
guys. Trevor L.
Have we ever figured out how many people are actually watching this at one time?
We can figure it out after the fact. Usually during the fact, the counter isn't actually correct.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's after the fact. So it's kind of hard to tell. But Brendan is saying he would love to do a wild Samoan statue in
Yeah, I think
honor.
that'd be kind of cool. Have a wild Samoan statue, maybe with even have Captain Lou there by the side or on the side or in the middle. Yeah,
Crazy to think back, like how integral they were in the WWE or WWF, if you will, for many, many years, and how they still are integral.
well, it's the story that I always found fascinating was how they were discovered in San Francisco at the Cow Palace because Peter Maivia uh, was getting the hell beat out of him, I guess, by the heels, and Pat Patterson was one of them, and they they'd have an arena full of Samoans with Sika and Alpha would get in a fight every week, and they finally had to smarten them up because they were killing the guys. So, said, hey guys, come on in. We'll let you in on a little secret here. So, but they were great guys, and I got to work with them a few times. They were easy, very easy, nice guys.
Not stiff at all or snug at all.
No, I don't remember Alpha, Sika, or Yoko for that matter being stiff. Worked with Yoko as Kokina in Continental, and no, all those guys can work, make it solid. There's a difference between solid and stiff, but it certainly wasn't stiff.
I've heard that, and I even asked Justin Credible, who obviously worked him as PJ Walker when he was working the Head Shrinkers, and Tony DeVito. I said, "Man, they killed you that match," and they said, "Nope, not at all. Like not even
Right?
close." I was like, "Really?" I was like, "It looks like the Samoans like stiff the hell out." He said, "Nope, very
Yeah,
soft."
yeah,
The
yeah.
art of it.
So yeah, that's talent. They had it.
Kenny Walker, Kenny Walker, Texas Ranger. Tom, did you ever do any work with Fritz von Erich?
Early on, I had some matches at the Sportatorium in Dallas and Fort Worth, and Fritz was there, but that was it. It was just, uh, I mean, like my first few matches. So Fritz was there, but that was about it.
ATF, I heard Tom was actually in a coma for weeks due to being punched by Hands of Stone Ronnie Garvin. Can anyone confirm?
I can confirm, and I recently woke up. So here I am. Yeah.
So you ran into Ronnie Garvin recently. That's pretty interesting.
Well, he knocked me out. I was out for
Well,
a few weeks.
yeah, you ran into a hand of Hands of
Yeah,
Stone.
pretty much. So
Bozo the Clown. Hello,
those know
Bozo.
you're my favorite clown growing up.
Do you remember that Seinfeld where George asked the clown what his name was, and he told him his name was Eric the Clown? And he's like, "You got to have a classic name like Bozo the Clown." And the guy's like, "You're stuck in the '60s, man."
Yeah. No, I never saw it, but I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it in my head and outside.
Trevor L. Hey, Tom, you still pissed off at Bruce for making you cut your hair? Was the payoff worth it?
No, and yes, because the payoff was I got many more years than I really should have. So yeah.
So yes, pissed at Bruce.
No,
Oh,
no,
no, pissed at Bruce. Oh, okay.
no, Mr. Bruce. Was the payoff worth it? Well, yeah, because it got me somewhere else.
From Dave Cole. Hey, John and Dr. Time, glad to see you both. Hope your summer has been good. I'm sure it's busy down where you are, John. Yes, it's insanely. Probably more so than it's been in years, actually. It's crazy. But he's saying they had hell of a career and long runs, meaning the Wild Samoans.
Yes, they did. Yeah, they really did. In fact, I recently watched some stuff they did with Lou Thesz's UWA in Kentucky, I think it was, and Saul Weingroff was their manager, and they were very, very, very green. But it's interesting to look back at that stuff and look at where they were then as compared to where they turned out.
Where was Thez's territory?
I believe in Kentucky.
Wasn't around for
Or
long.
maybe around Tennessee, Kentucky. No, it wasn't around very long, but old Bo James was doing a deal on it. The outlaw wrestling around Tennessee and West Virginia and Kentucky and things like that. There's a rich history of outlaw wrestling in these neck of the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of guys started out there.
Bozo wants to know, is Buff Bagwell Hall of Fame material in your book?
I think so. Look, you had Judy on a pole match. That's Hall of Fame material right there.
Judy Bagwell on a forklift.
On a
match.
forklift, sorry.
Yes.
I thought it was a pole.
Yes.
What am I thinking?
How was Alpha backstage? Did he pull any ribs? How was he like in the early 90s in the WWF?
No, Alpha was great. Alpha and Sika both were always cool guys. They didn't rib anybody, and they sure as hell didn't get ribbed. But they were very, very nice people. Alpha was very cool. Sika was very cool. Help a young guy. They didn't have to. But I think they were just genuinely good people, nice guys.
And when they brought him back in the 90s, obviously he's managing his son, Samu, and Rikishi, a.k.a.
Right.
Fatu, put some instant credibility on the head shrinkers.
Yeah. And he knew that was his job, and he enjoyed being around the business. So, yeah, good. I think he did a hell of a job.
The legendary Robert Rodkey is saying ACW. Is that?
Is it ACW?
That's his promotion?
No, it's UAW, I believe. Universal Wrestling Association, I think.
Dave is saying they also had a school and small promotion in Reading area that did them well in PA, Pennsylvania.
Maybe so. Yeah, they probably went up there too. But yeah.
They did training of a couple big names in the business as far as Offensica, right? I mean, Batista originally went to
Batista.
WCW, went to the power plant, quit, and then ended up finding Alpha. Thank God.
Yeah, yeah. He trained them, and well, hell, who else?
Schnitsky, right?
Snitsky. Yeah,
Obviously, his kids, Samu, Alpha Junior, a bunch of the Samoans.
yeah, yeah. So, uh, yeah, he was active all the way up until so.
Yeah,
And, and he, yeah,
he was
he
still
was
doing
still
something.
doing the school, I think, in what part of Florida? Not Ocala, some other part of Florida, by Tampa. Can't think of it right now, but they had a school, and he still might have the school. I don't know.
Mitch is saying, did you ever help out training at the Wild Samoan School? Did you ever go there?
No, I never did. Never had the opportunity.
Whoa, come on. Ibsen wants to know, did you fight the new head shrinkers with Fatu and Sione the Barbarian in the WWF? Did you ever have a match against them?
For some reason, and I know I thought we worked with the head shrinkers before, and but I don't know if we worked with Barb and Fatu. We might have, but I can't recall.
I'm not sure on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure on it either. That's what I'm saying. Somebody may come up with a result and say, "Yeah, I did wrestle." It's like Dynamite Kid. There's a program of me wrestling Dynamite Kid, but I never worked with Dynamite Kid.
Yes, you're right. In Portland, because I remember I was looking that up. I was like, well, I don't remember you ever mentioning this. That would have been brought up.
Never did.
So in 1994, you and the Barbarian teamed up on a bunch of house shows and you lost to the Smoking Guns. Do you remember that at all?
That might be when Jimmy hurt his knee and I was doing the moonsault. Because yeah, I think so. I think it was Barb and me going around working with the Smoking Guns.
And then about a month later, they formed the Head Shrinkers. Well, you guys, as the head shrink, or that, excuse me, Head Shrinkers, Fatu and Samu defeated the Heavenly Bodies. Um, a bunch of shows in all in California and one in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Then fast forward to 95, Sione, aka Barbarian, and Fatu beat you guys, Del Rey and yourself, in Providence. So yeah, you did wrestle a few times against
Sure did. Yeah, yeah.
not only the old head shrinkers, but the new head shrinkers.
Yeah, I guess we did. So there you have it.
Do you like Fatu and Barbarian better, or do you like Fatu and Samu better as far as
I honest to goodness, didn't have a preference looking back on it and thinking about it because they were both uh, same kind of matches. Um, and all four guys were easy to work with.
Adam Luce? Do you think if Tony Rumble hadn't passed away, he could have had more success promoting?
Yeah, I actually do. I like Tony Rumble. I think he could have had a lot more success. I don't know how much, but I thought he did a pretty good job.
More of a Boston area, right?
Yeah, yeah, with the Boston Bad Boy.
Yes. Mickey Mayfield. I wonder if any relation to the heck was his name? Damn, I forget his first name, but he was an old tape trader. His name was Mayfield. Mayfield Promotions. Did you know Doug Gilbert?
I do know Doug Gilbert. Talking about Eddie Gilbert's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I know Doug Gilbert.
George Mayfield. That's it. What if Mickey's related to George Mayfield? What are your thoughts on Dougie Gilbert?
Doug, great. Doug's awesome. Hell of a worker, still working today. I'm going to see him and a few other people in Memphis on September 21st for the, you know about this?
Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah. Doug will be there. A lot of other people will be there. Probably this may be, the last chance to see people for one more time.
Pretty cool
Handsome
that
Jimmy. Yeah,
you're going into another Hall of Fame. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
You were
You
in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, right, with Arn Anderson a few weeks ago. You got the
yeah.
Vern Gagne Trainer Award, and now you go into the Memphis Hall of Fame. Man, you were just Hall of Fame all over the
How
place
cool?
now.
How cool is that, huh? Yeah, Hall of Fame all over the place.
And I know Ibs and a bunch of people always say on the show that they think you should be in the Hall of Fame. Now you're in two more Halls of Fame.
There you go. So, have you been to the Iowa Hall of Fame? Have you seen that
No,
location? It's
no.
actually pretty cool. It's a pretty cool museum, pretty cool little deal. And everything's in a
Fez,
few block. Yeah,
Fez and Tragos.
yeah. Well, Tragos Threads. Sure.
Is it in Waterloo?
It's in Waterloo, Iowa.
Nice. I do
Yeah.
have to check it out. It does look cool.
Yeah, it is. It is cool. And the Civic Center's right across the street where they had a big event or a live event with Ring of Honor. I think it was Ring of Honor.
With Dougie Gilbert, are you okay with him being good friends with Sid, or is that a problem for you?
I have no problem with Sid.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the Hall of Fame like, though? Obviously, that was a pretty big honor to get in the Vern Gagne Award. How did that go?
Yeah, that was pretty nice. Had JBL induct me. I asked JBL to induct me, so that was kind of cool. They had the museum has a lot of artifacts and a lot of cool things. If you're a wrestling fan or just can appreciate momentums of some sort and stuff that you wouldn't see anywhere else. Then this was cool because they have a basement where they show you the other stuff that they don't display, either because they don't have room or they don't want anybody to touch it. So it was kind of cool. It was very cool.
Do you feel like you should have been inducted sooner? Were you bitter about it that you weren't inducted sooner?
I'm just happy I was inducted.
Did you see JBL, by the way, was in Mexico last weekend?
With Dolph with Nick Nemeth.
Yes.
Yes, sure
They were
did.
they were saying there's heat, and then there's JBL in Mexico heat. He's not liked down there at all, I'm hearing.
Well, he wants that border shut as fast as he can.
And that jacket, that long jacket that he had was great with the hat.
Yeah,
He looked
yeah.
awesome.
He's not playing a character. Yeah,
And
he's not
they
playing a
still,
character.
that was 20 years ago. They still hate him down there.
Of course. Hell. Can't stop. Once you hate him, you're going to hate him.
You remember Rudy Boy Gonzalez, obviously playing a character, but he was like coming across the border, and
Yeah.
JBL beat him up and sent him back so you're not crossing the border. Kind of
Yeah.
controversial. Couldn't be able to do that today.
Yeah. I think they remember it down there too. Hey, I said, no, get him out of here. Yeah.
Mitch said he looked like a Texas Ranger. LOL. Yes,
Yes, he did.
100,000%. Yes, yes,
I think he was going for that look.
yes, yes. That
Yeah.
that was awesome. Great idea by him. So, man, JBL is inducting you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool.
Great
Greg,
question here from TT Warrior 1. If Jamie Dundee joined AEW, would the rating jump 25%?
I don't know. I really don't know. Don't they have Jack Perry or whatever his name is? Same thing, isn't it?
Oh, the scapegoat, Jack Perry. Yes.
Yeah, and he's just like Jamie Dundee, out of his mind.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Don't know.
I don't know. A little different though. I would take Dundee. I think Dundee was a better worker and a better character and a better talker and a better look.
Yeah, but if you take Jamie, you have to get rid of him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You couldn't have them both.
You can't have two of those. No.
Interesting though. Isn't Dundee and Wolfie D, aren't they getting inducted into the Memphis Hall of Fame as well with you?
Yes, they are. They
Man,
sure
it's gonna be a good one over there.
Well, I think this is going to be kind of one of the last times that you may see some of these people. So
I know Lawler's probably in it already, but is he going to be a part of the festivities, Lawler?
I believe so. I believe Lawler, Dundee, Handsome Jimmy.
Wow.
Gosh, Reggie be fine. I know that.
Oh, Reggie, nice.
You know Reggie?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Have you talked to Reggie?
No, no, I actually want to though, for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Unless you think it's a bad idea.
I think it's a great idea. Reggie's fine.
Sammy Hirschler, how are you doing tonight, Dr. Tom?
Doing great.
Dave wants to know, is Al Snow still running the promotion?
Uh, well, I personally haven't heard otherwise, so I don't know.
OVW? Meaning? I think.
I guess.
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
going. Actually, they got a national tour going on right now. They're running a bunch of different states. They have a new ownership in place. I think. Well, Matt Jones is still there, but there's a new ownership above.
Well, how are they doing? Are they drawing?
It seemed like they were selling out the Davis Arena pretty much after the Netflix series came out every single week, but then they did some refurbishments there, so they weren't running there and they were running elsewhere. They weren't selling out, but they really weren't drawing terribly. I just feel like they were going to too big of venues. They should try to go to venues that'll fit their crowd. I think like a couple thousand, like it's too big. Let's go a little smaller.
Are there those kind of buildings in enough places for them to be profitable?
That I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure. They were hot for a bit, especially in the Kentucky area, in Louisville area. But I don't know about other places. I've seen them sell. I think it was 800 tickets or something. So nothing terrible. I mean, it was some pretty good houses, but the venue was like for 4,000 or something. So
Right.
they should
Yeah.
go to smaller venues.
Well, that may be the smallest venue they have in that town too, and they want to run the town and I guess get on the map or whatever reason.
Or if they got a deal or something on the venue.
I don't know because Netflix isn't exactly like having a weekly TV show with angles or introducing these guys. I mean, the only way you're going to hear about them is from Netflix and what you see on there. So, what are you really seeing? Do they have everybody from Netflix on the show? Do you know?
It looked like by the poster, it looked like almost everybody.
Well, then if they were that hot, I guess they might draw somebody. But
Why was it always said that you were going to go to the NWA in the newsletters for years, but it didn't happen? Were you supposed to go to the NWA at one point?
no, I think that was just a rumor.
What about in '88 when they ended up teaming up Bobby Eaton with Stan Lane? I know that was a rumor then that you were going to be headed to the NWA, aka JCP, at that
Well,
point.
yeah, I think that was part of the story that Cornette wanted me to take Dennis's place. But I was in Continental, and that was before cell phones, and we were on like a 4-day loop. And like the second day, saw Adrian Street, and he said, "Jim Cornette's been trying to get a hold of you." Um, there's no, I didn't have his number, but he had mine. I guess he left a message on my machine at home. But uh, Stan was part of the Florida office, and they just bought the Florida office. So Stan got that gig there, but that was the only thing that could have been happening about going to the NWA. So I stayed in Continental for a couple of years, I think.
Could you imagine if you were Bobby Eaton's partner at that point? Can you even imagine being a part of the Midnight Express?
Yeah, but I don't think I was ready for it. I don't think I was mature enough for it. Looking back on it, because it all came around. It was just a little too late in the end. Smoky Mountain. But it would have been cool as hell. It would have been cool as hell to go around as Midnight Express.
Oh my God, yeah. Do you think you were a good enough worker to be Bobby Eaton's tag team partner of the Midnight Express?
At that point, I was confident enough to know that I could at least be a tag team. And I knew how to work because I was having good matches in Continental, and I was feeling good as a heel. So I think so. I think it would have been at that time uh, to be able to handle and uphold my end if need be. Because I did it with Stan when we worked with Rock and Roll and Smoky Mountain and Jimmy and and those guys too. So yeah, I think it would have worked.
Do you think you're a better worker than Dennis Condrey? Is that what you're trying to say?
John,
Yeah.
trying to say,
Scorch. Until recently, I didn't know Tonga Kid was the twin brother of Rikishi. I wonder why Rikishi didn't get his break in the WWF until 6 years after his brother, Scorch.
sometimes it's just timing.
So I asked Tonga Kid and Rikishi this question because if you look it up, it says they're twins, and they both laughed and said they are not twins.
Yeah,
So
I
I
don't
thought
think
that,
they're twins.
yeah, they're not. So I thought that was interesting that everyone has them listed as the same birth date. And when I asked them both separately, they both laughed. And I was like, "Oh, Rikishi, you're you're a twin. You had a twin." He's like, "I'm not a twin." So yeah, that's actually incorrect. They are not twins. So
Right.
I think Tonga Kid, I think, is a few years older, and that's probably why he got in WWF before Rikishi. I'm gonna guess.
That could be. Yeah, could be.
Are you a big Tonga Kid fan?
I thought Tom Kidd was great. I never met him, but I thought he was great.
Oh, you never wrestled him. Interesting.
No.
He,
Yeah,
of course, is the father of maybe WWE's best wrestler or up there, Jacob Fatu. He's got to be up
uh,
there. Good,
yeah,
good lineage right there.
yeah, very good lineage. Good bloodline.
Excellent bloodline. Very cool that they had him beat up Roman Reigns this past week after Roman Reigns beat the hell out of Solo and Tama and Tangaloa. So I thought that was cool that basically Roman dominates the other guys, but Jacob has looked like, the strongest one.
Well, I think they're doing a great job no matter what they do with that guy, man. He's going to look good no matter what he does. I think they're just scratching the surface right now with Jacob.
Oh, yeah. To me, and I know people may think it was crazy, but the money match, I don't think is Roman versus Solo. I think the money match is Roman versus Jacob Fatu. I think that's the direction you need to go. I know Solo's the leader of the bloodline, but I think that's the way you
Well,
got to go.
yeah, but I think the Jacob part is the interference part. Um, you get through me, then you get to Solo. So there'd have to be a fantastic finish for that.
Yep.
I mean, it would be. But yeah, I see that as Jacob being the guy standing in front, going go through me, and then he does. So
The enforcer, if you will.
yeah, I remember when Dory Funk Senior was king of the Texas Death Matches. He'd won over 5,000 Texas Death Matches. 5,000 Texas Death Matches he's won.
Whoa.
So how many Texas Death Matches would he have during the week? It doesn't matter. That's a lot. So, if you could beat my son, then you're going to have to take me on in a Texas death match, and then we'll see who's the toughest funk. So you beat both the boys, but he ain't going to beat the old man. So it's the same thing.
I like that. Mitch has got a great question. He says, "Who's your favorite all-time Samoan wrestler?"
Well, I got to tell you, I think Roman Reigns has really been doing a great job, and I enjoy his promos along with his work. I don't know if I have an all-time favorite, but he's my favorite right now.
Whoa, I can't believe the guy you trained, you overlooked The Rock. I can't believe that.
Well,
That's your boy.
yeah, but you asked me who my favorite Samoan wrestler was, and I said,
Oh, all right.
all time. I don't have one of all time. I just have one for right now. Right now, Roman Reigns is my favorite Samoan wrestler. So,
Man, there's
if you don't want the truth, then that's the question.
there's a long list of good ones. I tell you that
Well,
much.
sure there are. So I said for right now, Roman Reigns is my favorite.
The OTC, the original tribal chief.
of course.
Now, I have to mention this, of course, too. Another passing that happened a few weeks ago while we were off. The Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan passed away. Obviously, we both know him very, very well. What a shame, Kevin's passing. What did you think of the passing of the Taskmaster?
I knew he was sick, and I knew he had been in Florida, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because he was in a hospital in Florida. They couldn't move him, and they had to move him. So a friend of mine and I were talking about it, and they finally moved him. You know, when they had the picture, I think it was on Facebook or Twitter of him in between, and there were two ladies on each side. One was his daughter, and one was his wife.
yep.
Okay, so uh, the last time I saw Kevin, he looked in pretty good shape. He lost a lot of weight, and he seemed really low key, which was good. But that's the last time I seen him. And when I saw this picture of him, he looked really like he needed help, like he was in bad shape. So um, I was getting these other pictures of Kevin, in bed and things like this, showing that hey, he's something's going on. So I wasn't expecting him to be around much longer when I heard he was sick and they had to fly him back to Massachusetts, put him in assisted living and things like that. So, what do you say to that? I don't know. What do you say to something like that? It's going to happen to us all one day, but hope it's quick and painless.
Yeah, well, what a shame. What a legend the Taskmaster was. Maybe one of the
Yeah,
smartest guys ever in the business, if you think about it.
yeah, yeah, and I had a lot of good times with Kevin. Um, and a couple of them he would always bring up when I see him because there were there were things that the business was so different back then, and Kevin was in such a position of power. Uh, he knew how to come up with ideas and present them. And he was telling me about we were talking about that one night and about how he wrote stuff down and had it laid out. He said they appreciate it when you do that. And I thought, that makes perfect sense. But again, I just wasn't mature enough back then to do that and come up with the ideas like he did. But he was very creative, and he he was great. He was great at what he did. He really was. He was a master politician sometimes, and try to teach a little bit of that in everyday life, how to be welcoming and congenial. I guess is what I'm trying to say. He knew how to work. He knew how to get what he needed done. And I
Yep.
would watch him do this, and it was always just one of the cool parts of the business to see how he operated. So, yeah, I was I was sad about that one too, but what do you do?
And the mastermind behind the NWO, one of the most successful storylines of all time that literally launched the Attitude Era, if you think about it. So
Yeah,
huge behind the scenes impact by Kevin.
yeah. Well, you hear Jim Cornette talk about when he was on the booking committee with Kevin, and just being there, listening and watching and observing uh, the intricacies, the little parts that you wouldn't think about unless you're you're in that circumstance. I mean, it just he was a trip, and he knew how to tell stories. He really did.
Magazine's got an interesting point here. It says at the time Chris Benoit had a fling with Nancy, his wife Martina was pregnant, so Benoit was shady long before the murder suicide.
Okay.
Crazy though. Kevin always put Benoit over. Isn't that crazy? During that whole thing and during that whole feud, he always put Benoit over big.
Well, I'm sure he had respect for Benoit. I'm sure he saw his talent. I mean, I don't think anybody could figure out. Well, I don't know.
He had him end his career too in that career match at Bash of the Beach '97. So it's like not only did he like put the guy over in this feud, he's then having him end his career. And then eventually, when he was the booker, he gave him the world title, which of course Benoit left the WWF the next day. But crazy, he always booked in his favor.
Well, I wonder if that was one of those things where he's going to show you. You think I had hard feelings? You think I really cared? Look what I did for you on the way out. If I really wanted to make it nasty, I can make it nasty the other way. But I'm going to show you how I really am as business. I'm going to show you. This is it. You can even besides take my wife, you can retire me. So I can see him saying that too.
Frank says, Dr. Tom, it's been said that Kevin Sullivan, quote unquote, booked his own divorce by pairing Nancy with Chris Benoit. Do you agree with that?
Beforehand, I wouldn't, but I do now. I would agree with that. I would agree that Kevin probably got caught up in the work, it became a shoot, and he thought, well, okay, I can always book it now and then book a marriage again. I can do this however I want to do it, and it'll happen. If I book the divorce, great. Later on, if we book a place or a time where we get remarried and the band gets back together, I can book that too. So
it is crazy that you can have a feud in wrestling that is almost so real that you don't know if they're working or shooting when they're having these matches and beating the living hell out of each other. Like
that's the best kind.
Yeah. That's why I love that feud.
Yeah, that's what wrestling used to be about, and it was a lot more real, but it's just different today. It's not that way anymore. Although some places, some guys can get away with it, but I just haven't seen it in so long.
But people actually thought that Sullivan had something to do with the murder suicides. Like that's how invested people were in the feud, thinking that it was real.
Yeah, and yeah.
Isn't that crazy? What a feud! They had some awesome matches. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was a great angle. It really was. And Kevin loved the business. He loved doing that stuff.
Happy Hump Day, says Mike. Hello, Mike. Happy Hump Day.
It is Hump Day.
Landbrick 5. Hello from Washington, D.C. He's only 4 blocks away from the White House. Interesting. Del Mountain. John, thank you for clearing up the birth date issue with Tonga Kid and Rikishi. At least 5 internet sources say that Tonga Kid and Rikishi are twins, but that's not the case. Yeah, that is not.
Yeah. Well.
Wanted to mention this to you. I don't know if you happened to see, but Fanatics Fest was last week at the Jacob Javits Center in New York City. Huge fan festival. NFL, NHL, NBA, UFC, WWE, they were all a part of it. The number one attraction as far as a promotion was not the NFL, even though they had Tom Brady, Eli, and Peyton Manning there, and Barry Sanders and Jerry Rice and those other guys. The number one attraction was the WWE And the number one overall most requested guy that got sold out that they had to add extra time was Cody Rhodes. Are you surprised by
Wow.
any of this?
Not at all. Not at all. Who else was there? Or for WWE?
Rhea Ripley, she sold out very quickly. CM Punk sold out quickly. Hulk Hogan was there as well. Rey Mysterio, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan. So they had Jey Uso. They had a slew of guys that were there.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. So who put that on?
Michael Rubin of Fanatics, and it was called Fanatics Fest.
Oh, Fanatics Fest.
They own everything now, out of nowhere. I have no idea how, but they own everything. It's crazy. Like if you go to WWE shop, it's Fanatics shop. Like Fanatics is everything.
Oh, okay. Well, good for them.
That doesn't surprise you at all. That WWE outdrew all these big, famous people.
No, I think WWE gives people what they want these days. And I think it's spreading, and the word's spreading. And when I watch, which I don't get to watch all the time, I get a feeling of not urgency, but I get a feeling of I want to see what's going to happen.
And they had a entrance set up so you can literally do your own for real entrance. Like they had it set up with the Titantron and everything. They said that was like one of the best things as far as activities that people just were loving and seeing. And Tom Brady the day before was doing the Hulk Hogan. He came out to Hogan's Titantron, was doing the Hogan. So yeah, people were really into all the WWE stuff. Even the athletes were into it.
Yeah, I can see why, man. It's a lot of fun. A lot
They
of
were
fun.
handing out belts to everybody as well. Those awesome belts that they have. Everybody got their own belt.
To who? For everybody that came?
So, like Kevin Durant was there, they gave him a Texas Longhorns. They gave him a belt because that's where he went to college. So he got a belt. Livy Dunn, who's from LSU, beautiful gymnastics. They gave her an LSU title belt, and they all held them up, and very cool.
Yeah, awesome. Good for them.
This is a great question here, directed at Landbrick. It's from 4040, B40. He said, "Do you ever see Biden wandering around aimlessly at night?"
Yes. Yes, I do.
I guarantee Lambrick does because he's right by the White House. I guarantee he's seen
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah.
I love it. Scorch says in one interview, Kevin Sullivan said that the 16-year age difference with Nancy ended up being a big problem, that he knew she couldn't be faithful to him. What do you think about that?
That's possible. 16 years is, a decent sized gap. And Kevin was Kevin. So, I mean, I can understand that way of thinking.
So I guess technically she was cheating. Technically Benoit was cheating on his wife, and then they got together. So not a good circumstance there all the way around.
No, so yeah, that might have prompted Kevin to say, "Let's just get rid of this. We'll write it out."
And he said in many interviews and told me they were separated at that point, so he knew they were kind of on the outs anyway.
Right, right. So, what do you do?
Lambrick says rumors in the city that Biden sneaks out in a regular car for ice cream. Very possible. Interesting.
Huh. Well, I hate to get carjacked.
Wrestling for me became stale about 10 years until the new company took over. I'd say 20 years probably. That wrestling was probably stale. WWE was pretty bad for a long time with Vince. No offense to Vince. I know he's a genius, but WWE was pretty damn bad after WCW went out of business, probably until Triple H took over.
Well, you got to think you have to have talent too. So, you got to know how to use the talent you have, but you have to have talent. And so, I mean, a lot of it, I think. Have you ever written anything for a TV show or like a play or anything like that? Or a
No.
book? You wrote a book.
Book, yep.
Okay, so you've wrote a book. Well, how long did it take you to write that book?
Oof, long time.
Like a year?
Yeah, over. Yep.
Over a year. Okay. So these guys are writing like 5 hours TV. No, more than 5 hours because you had NXT in there too. Well, NXT has their own crew, but you're gonna you're gonna need creativity from all the way around, all hands on deck, from the talent to the writers, um, and it's kind of hard not to get stale after a while, unless you have creative people around you. And I think right now there's more creative people around on both sides, talent and administration, that it's showing in the product. So sometimes back then, maybe 10 years ago, they didn't have as many brilliant writers or brilliant talents, with creativity that they do today, and that's a testament to the students that all these guys have become of the game. So I think it shows. I think the product's doing really good, and I like it.
Me too. They're on fire right now, no doubt about it. Magazine says WWE might have been more successful after they acquired WCW if they had pushed Norman Smiley all the way to the top. Is that something you agree with? I love that.
I
Screaming
agree 100.
Norman.
percent Yes, I agree 100%. Norman, yes,
Screaming Norman Smiley. Should have gotten a big
yes,
push.
I agree.
Have you talked to Norman lately?
Texted him the other day.
Oh, nice. How's he doing?
Doing good.
Obviously, he's still with the WWE, right? He's still in the
Yes,
Performance Center?
yes, he is doing
Nice.
very well.
King of Kingsport himself, Bo James. Hey, Tom, we missed you at the fair. Are you going to watch me on the Briscoe and Bradshaw tomorrow? Are you going to watch me on Briscoe and Bradshaw tomorrow?
Well, Bo James was on Briscoe and Bradshaw tomorrow. They're dropping their new show tomorrow, and they're talking about that outlaw.
Yeah, what's
Bo,
going on? What's Bo doing on that show?
he's being interviewed by Bradshaw and Briscoe, telling stories.
Oh,
See, he's got a East Tennessee outlaw stories to tell.
is that why Bo was tagging along with Bradshaw recently? Is that why?
Yeah, he was in Bradshaw's face, telling him that Texas really didn't defend the Alamo. It was all thanks to Tennessee volunteers, and I'm not so sure about all that.
Yeah, that is out there that the Texans actually weren't defending. I don't know about that.
Well, none of us were there. All I'm telling you is that they, like all these Tennesseans, think that you know we appreciate all the help and all, but at the same time, T for Texas.
Have you ever seen the movie The Alamo, starring the great John Wayne? Have you seen that movie?
No, I missed that one.
Ah, it's a good one. That is a good one. Are you definitely going to be watching that though with Bo?
Yeah, I'll watch that tomorrow.
Oh, all right. Look at
Sure.
that, Bo. You have somebody that says yes, they will be watching. The Big Wiggle, yes. Remember Norman's Big Wiggle, that awesome slap that he used to do, the Big Wiggle, that little dance?
Yes, the girls used to do that.
Ooh. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Do you think it's true that AEW, WWE paid guys just to sit backstage and keep them from each other? Find that very interesting. Do you think that they do that?
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know. I mean,
Seems
it
like
wouldn't
it's
surprise.
weird. It seems like, and especially with AEW, it just seems like they'll have somebody and they just won't use them, and they're on the roster, and you're just wondering, like, could they have maybe done better elsewhere, like TNA or New Japan or on the indie scene or something? It's just like they're just not doing anything with most of these guys. It's nuts.
Well, that's that's where I mean, I think people keeping these guys back so nobody else will sign them is not out of the realm of possibility. because that's another power play. But I don't know. It's pretty chicken shit to hold somebody to a contract like that if you're not going to use them. Somebody else will. They'll just take them off your hands. But I don't know if that's true or not. That just sounds kind of crazy to me, but not that far fetched.
Yeah, to me, it just seems like wasted money if you're going to do that. But it does seem like it's happening. Phil says, has Dr. Tom seen the Wyatt Six lately? What are your thoughts?
Last time I saw him was a couple weeks ago when
Uncle Howdy,
yeah, somehow he got the shit beat out of him by
Chad Gable.
Chad Gable. Yes. So that's the last time I saw him.
What do you think about the characters?
I don't really know because they keep taking the gimmicks off and become different characters. And it's like a traveling band of misfits. And I get that, but I haven't seen it enough to. I like what I've seen so far, but I haven't seen it enough to give a fully disclosed opinion, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Adam is saying WWE paid Lanny Poffo to sit at home for years.
Yes, they did, but that was, and that, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it could be. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. That's for sure.
That seemed like more of a favor to the Macho Man than anything.
Well, it'd be a favor to them to get paid at home, I guess.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. But let's wrap this bad boy up. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Two Man Power Trip. You follow Dr. Tom at Dr. Tom Prichard. Dr. Tom, tell us where everybody can get your book.
You can get the book if you email me at jpwrestlingacademy.com. Ask for a autographed copy of the book. That's jpwrestlingacademy.com. And we'll get you one out.
How about autographed copies?
If you'd like an autographed copy, go to the same Gmail at jpwrestlingacademy@gmail.com and ask for an autographed copy.
Anything else going on in this crazy world?
We've got all kinds of things going on right now, but I think the most important thing is we started this podcast back, and by God, to and fro is what I say. So that's about it, man. We're just working away.
Yes, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Mitch. Look at this, a fitting finish to Hump Day. Welcome back, John and Doc. Yes, I agree. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tom. Thank you, everybody, for listening. See you right back here next week for a little Take It to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. We'll see you next week, folks.